Hi everybody and welcome to PlaidStallions Toy Ventures. This week we're not only going to talk about an iconic toy of the 1970s, but a historically important one as well. I am, of course, talking about Remco's Energized Spider-Man from 1978. How is it significant? Well, I'll give you the backstory right now. Now, in 1978, the Remco name was owned by another toy company called Azrak Hamway International, or as we like to call it around these parts, AHI. AHI had a rivalry with another New York-based toy company you may have heard of, Mego. Even though the two companies had once worked together in the early 1960s, when the second generations of both companies took over the business, both these guys, by the way, had the same initials, it became something of a feud, with AHI not only snatching licenses, but Mego people, and, well, copying what they were doing at times. To quote Mego's president, Marty Abrams, Mego was AHI's research and development department. Now, one of Mego's biggest licenses and its core moneymaker in the 1970s was the evergreen World's Greatest Superheroes brand. You know, this was a combination of Marvel and DC, and Mego had that locked down. And in 1978, they were planning something very big. They were going to expand the World's Greatest Superhero line to include a new scale, the 1/6 or 12-inch size. This was a really great time for superheroes. I mean, the Hulk was on television, Spider-Man was on television, there was a Superman movie coming out. Superheroes couldn't have been hotter. Now, AHI had some success creating lower cost, as I like to call them, rack toys based on DC and Marvel properties. But the closest thing they had to action figures were the parachute figures they were producing, which former Remco employees fully admit was created to get kids to use them as action figures. So, yeah, I used the parachute a few times and it broke, and then it was a Batman action figure. You see, Mego's master toy license consisted of articulated action figures. So, Licensing Corp of America, who handled both Marvel and DC at that time, were happy to sell you a license for action figures that had no articulation. You could get it no problem. But what kid wanted a statue of Spider-Man? No one. And that's where the genius of the Energized Spider-Man comes out. It's gimmick. Originally, it was called the Amazing Climbing Spider-Man, according to this pre-production image that we found. The folks at Remco figured out how to market an action figure with no points of articulation. Zero. It's an inaction figure, if you will, but it would still have kids ask Santa for it at the same time. Energized Spider-Man sacrificed any posability with a special feature, namely a motorized body, thanks to 1C battery not included, that could climb a web, use a flashlight if you plugged it into the belt, and even fly a helicopter, sold separately. They had finally broken the code and were able to offer a $10 Marvel superhero figure right next to Mego's 12-inch $10 Marvel superhero figures.
It's Energized Spider-Man with Spider Sense. Battery not included. Turn the Spider Sense activator. Red Dragon appears to go into action. Attach the web climber. Flip the switch, and he climbs automatically. Energized Spider-Man. The motorized web. It pulls. It lifts. The Spider Light to climb at night. The Spider Copter sold separately with Spider Sense panel. The power pack turns on the copter.
We'll have to get the Red Dragon.
Energized Spider-Man with Spider Sense comes with communicator. Spider Copter sold separately from Remco.
And not only that, Remco created a whole line of toys for this launch in 1978, including an energized Green Goblin. So he had a baddie to fight. Energized Green Goblin also climbed a rope, his anchor being that of his glider, and he had a special web cutter. And also, they had a vehicle for Spider-Man in terms of the Spider-Copter, which I mentioned earlier. Don't ask me where Peter keeps that thing. Also, an accessory set that included a camera and a Spider-Man web trap. Remco did a very ambitious print and television campaign to advertise their new found entrance into the superhero action figure marketplace. This glorious new 12-inch figure could not be ignored, and it found its way into several department store wish books in 1978. Mego, not entirely happy with this new development, did what you do when faced with such a challenge. You fight gimmick with gimmick.
It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Superman with flyaway action. Jor-El, General Zod, and Lex Luthor each sold separately. It's Superman! And this is Wonder Woman with flyaway action. Flyaway action for Wonder Woman and Superman require assembly. Wonder Woman, you can make her fly. Superman and Wonder Woman, both with a flyaway action pack. All figures sold separately by Mego.
The company developed a new feature for their 12-inch superheroes called Flyaway Action. This was a simple series of pulleys that, when attached to a 12-inch superhero figure, would enable them to appear to fly. Who cares that Batman doesn't fly? He does now. The newly minted Flyaway Action device was included in existing Mego inventory, and a giant sticker was slapped on the boxes. This would, in later editions, just be printed on the packaging as the years went on. Now, Remco had a successful 1978 with the Energized Spider-Man line and expanded it to include more superheroes for 1979, including the Incredible Hulk, who breaks stuff, Batman, who pretty much just climbs exactly like Spider-Man and has a flashlight, don't need to do anything there, and Superman, who had the ability to simulate flying and make a kryptonite rock glow. I've never gotten the whole packaging Superman with the thing that kills him, but whatever. In 1979, Remco also proposed a playset called the Energized Spider-Man Command Center with Spider Sense. You placed a film strip in the Command Center viewer, and you plugged Spider-Man in via the energy belt, or his battery, and you spin the Spider Sense activator, look through his eyes, and watch Spider-Man spring into lifelike action, whatever that means, when plugged in. I have no idea what this toy was supposed to do. It obviously never saw any sort of production. I'm not sure what that action, the film strips, would have been. There was a similar kind of film strip viewer on the copter itself. I doubt it was particularly interesting or dynamic to buyers, and they just easily passed on this, not needed playset. 1980 would see the Energized line be retired, but Remco wasn't done with the superheroes. It would be completely revamped. Gone were the 12-inch battery-powered Energized Heroes, and welcome the 9-inch Powerized Heroes. These smaller figures, just like their predecessors, didn't have any articulation or soft goods, but each had more of a wind-up gimmick, meaning you didn't have to include a C battery. That, of course, improving the price point of the figures themselves. Spider-Man would still climb his web. Powerized Incredible Hulk would throw a log. Newly added character Powerized Captain America would spin his shield. Powerized Batman still climbed his bat rope. And Powerized Superman flew also by climbing a rope that was attached to a big rock. All of these figures had glow-in-the-dark details, making them irresistible to me. I love glow-in-the-dark toys. The Remco Powerized Heroes would also get a playset in the form of the Gamma Glow Machine, a light-up device that looks suspiciously like the jail cell from Superman the movie that apparently activated the toy's glow-in-the-dark features, I'm assuming by using a pen light bulb. The Gamma Glow machine is like really tough to track down. It got made. I have seen boxed examples, but not for a very long time. They never pop up. And whenever I try to Google this stupid thing, I just get my own website, which is really not helpful. I know everything I know about this. The Powerized Heroes would last until about 1982 when they were taken off the market. Remco would continue a relationships with DC Comics, producing toys based on things such as Warlord and Sergeant Rock until the mid-1980s. I really wanted one of these Energized Spider-Mans as a kid, although I'm not upset I didn't get one now. It's neat, but I can see that I'd be bored with it pretty quick. I knew a kid who had this growing up, and yeah, it was like interesting for a few minutes for sure, but I felt like I always dodged a bullet. Now, I purchased this Energized Spider-Man last weekend at an antique mall, and well, I thought it would be fun to pop in a C battery, take him out of his box, and see if he still climbs. Join me, will you? Just wanted to take a moment to mention that my newest book, Knockoffs, Totally Unauthorized Action Figures, is now available. It's a celebration of the bootleg action figure over the decades. Knockoffs is loaded with all your favorite brands and characters if they came from the Bizarro universe. Hundreds of color photographs. This 132-page book also talks about the burgeoning bootleg toy art scene with interviews and portfolios of some of the top artists in the field. If you liked Rack Toys or Toy Ventures magazine, please consider checking out my new book. Links to my shop are in the description. Thanks for watching. So there you have it, folks. My Energized Spider-Man is not so energized. This is kind of par for the course with stuff over here at Toy Ventures. Very few of the toys I buy seem to be working. And, I have no idea what I'm going to do with these C batteries, but hopefully some more toys can come into the studio that will disappoint me. I know these batteries are fresh. This has been an exciting one for me. I'm really happy to finally be able to do this episode, and I'm really grateful I found this Remco Energized Spider-Man at a terrific price. I really didn't pay a lot for this boxed example, and I'm beginning to understand why it was such a great price. But hey, you know what? This is a fun episode, and I'm glad I did it, and this is an iconic toy. I would love your feedback on this item. Do you remember it from when you were a kid? Did you have it? Did it disappoint you? Or were you completely satisfied with Energized Spider-Man? Let me know in the comments below, or you can hit me up on our Facebook group, PlaidStallions, where we're talking all the time. Thank you, as always, for watching Toy Ventures. If you're new to this, I hope you will consider hitting like and subscribe. This is what we do every week, and we have a lot of fun doing it. Until next time, I want to sign off with my usual, be well and talk toys, not others. Cheers. See you soon.